things, I'm sure, and kind of getting burned out, but I hope you will get into this. So, my name is Heath McGuire. I'm a senior here at Creighton. I was born and raised here in Omaha. I grew up in the Cathedral neighborhood, just right up the road, in my nice house with my well-respected and well-liked family. And anyone who knew me probably would have thought I was a really happy kid, perhaps even a funny kid. But starting around my 13th birthday, there was another me that people didn't really know. A really sad kid who didn't sleep very much, and whose mom had to drag her out of bed just about every morning. It wasn't because I was tired that I didn't want to get out of bed, but it was because I was both scared and sad for reasons I didn't understand at the time. That might have been the worst part, even not the uncontrollable shaking of a panic attack or the holding back tears in school, but the not knowing why. It was at this time that I wrote the words, "Prove them wrong," on a white postcard and put it next to my alarm clock to look at in the morning. And at this time, I didn't even realize what that meant yet. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety by the age of 15, and this time last year I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. While I don't think mental illness defines me, I do believe it helps to explain me. So I'm going to try to explain it the best I can, without any technical or scientific terms. Because I can't explain how mental illness feels for all people, but I will explain how it feels for me. After I was diagnosed for the first time is when the "prove them wrong" phrase came back into play. Those 3 words, they became my reason to keep fighting. Keep looking for the right counselor or for a better medication. Them started as all the people who had this big stigma against mental illness. But what it really became was the part of me who didn't believe it was all worth it, who thought I could never get better. Just be happy is one of the most common phrases a depressed person hears. Ah, how easy that sounds. Why did I not think of that? Just be happy, like simple. What was I thinking? Unfortunately, depression is different than just being sad. You know you're depressed when it's been months and you're still not able to find joy in all the things that used to make you happy. For me, it became very evident when I was sitting at a Creighton basketball game, my favorite place in the world, and wasn't even enjoying it. All the things that once brought me happiness felt the same as all the mundane things in life. It's the waking up in the morning and trying to convince yourself to get out of bed after being up all night with anxiety about the next day of living. It's the physical aches throughout your body and wondering where they could have come from. It's a shame of not being able to tell any of your friends because you think they'll think you're being dramatic. And in the beginning, it was mainly really lonely. Until I decided to start talking about it to a few friends and family, and they gave me hope to keep fighting. One of the hardest things about mental illness is that sometimes you have to give up what you want in the present for a shot at a better life in the future. For instance, fall semester last year, I had cut down to only 1 course at Creighton. I was in a really bad place. I needed time to work on myself and change meds, and I really just needed my mom and dad. It was uncomfortable to tell people that I was essentially taking a semester off. And at first I felt really ashamed. But what I came to realize was that my friends would understand, or at least try to. And it makes me so sad to think that there are kids here at Creighton who think that they shouldn't fight for their own happiness simply because mental illness is uncomfortable to talk about. If you have mental illness, it's probably enough part of your life that you learn to become more comfortable talking about it. And if you don't have mental illness, you have to catch up with the times and get comfortable talking about it. It's here. Mental illness is a disease, and it does not discriminate. Just because the rest of someone's life seems really great. It affects people here, at Creighton, just as much as anywhere else. For those of you who are freshmen, everyone is new to each other right now, and everyone still has their best face on. I'm not saying that people are being fake in the moment. I'm just saying that if they are struggling, they probably aren't showing it. Just because someone seems wealthy or beautiful or smart doesn't mean that they couldn't also have mental health problems. And if you're wondering how can I be a good friend for someone who's struggling with these issues, being the friend of a person with mental illness is just being a good friend. You support them when they're having a bad day. There just may be more of them. Just because your friend has mental illness doesn't mean you have to be sad too, though. You have to find the difference between sympathy and empathy. If you have a friend who is suffering with mental illness, you can acknowledge and support them in their pain, but you do not have to take on that pain. You have to become empathetic. If you're empathetic, you will be able to be strong enough to support them, and they will appreciate you not going down with them. The thing is, there is no perfect solution to helping someone with mental illness. Different people can help in different ways. Some of my friends will pick up the phone at 3 in the morning and just sit there in silence, just in case I decide to talk. Or my oldest friend, Carly, who lives further. She always shows me YouTube videos or a new show just to distract me. We don't have to talk about it when I'm having a bad spell. She just knows and helps. The truth is, half the battle is just showing up. For me, knowing that I had friends who would love me at my highs and at my lows was everything. It's the only reason I'm here today. In case you're curious, I'm doing pretty well today, mentally. But I learned over the years that there's no guarantees. I could be at a great place in my life tomorrow, and within months be back to my lowest of lows. But knowing that only makes me more grateful for the good times and prepared for the future. And I'm happy to know that I have my team looking out for me. I'd like to thank all of you for listening today. I think it might have been a bit uncomfortable at first, but our goal is that the next time we talk about mental illness, it won't be quite as strange. Thank you.